Give it up! Everybody at Motivational, welcome! So who here is brand new in the room? First time here today? Welcome! If you haven't heard, I might actually look at you. Welcome. So, my name is Monika. I have a master's in spiritual psychology. I'm a mom of 3. And today, I have the pleasure of celebrating my 13th wedding anniversary. About relationships, I know just a little bit. And in addition, my husband is my trusty advisor, support system, cameraman, person behind it, amazing father of our children. And we've actually been together. He met me when I was 17 years old, and we've been together on and off. For 22 years. Wow. And in 22 years of life and relationship with someone, you can imagine that there's a lot of growth and learning. You know, when we first started, it was that young openness and awareness and dreaming about life together. Everything was possible. The cars we wanted, the houses we wanted, the trips we wanted to take, and nothing was grounded inside of any kind of action. It was all about the dreams of what the future would hold and the love that was going to grow as a result of fulfilling on some of those dreams. And along the way, there were things that didn't have the dreams get fulfilled, especially not in the timeline that we thought that they would get fulfilled. So, who here has ever had a dream that hasn't yet gotten fulfilled?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, give yourself a round of applause. And what you're applauding yourself for is the willingness to keep going after it. Nice. No matter what it takes for you to deal with what it is that's in your way, it's important that you recognize it's a journey. If at any point along the way, over these 22 years, I had stopped paying attention to who my husband was becoming, stopped growing into the person that I was becoming, then what there was for us to work on together wouldn't have been available. But because we knew that there was something we had that was a vision for a future, that there was something worth working for, and that there was something that the two of us together could do much better than the two of us apart, it kept us together and it kept us striving for what we had to learn individually and keep bringing to the table. This is not different than what we do in our daily lives. It happens to be for us inside of a promise called our marriage. But for all of us, we have a promise to ourselves for who we're going to be on the planet. Because every day you wake up, you step into that promise with yourself. And depending on how strong you make that promise to yourself and how relentlessly you pursue that promise, will discern whether or not what you get out of that promise is what you dream of. So, I ask of you a couple of things. Today, when you walked in the door, you came from a lot of circumstances. I know someone that their car radiator had an issue and she got here. I know someone else who got so excited to get here and was just here an hour early. I know someone else who worked out really, really, really hard and is now here after knowing that her body went and did what her body needed to do and now is here to work on the mindset piece. Whatever it was that had you get through getting here, give yourself a round of applause. If you have a seat next to you that's open, raise your hand. Come on up. Thank you. Welcome. So why I like to talk about what's on the other side of the door is because on the other side of the door, if we begin to look at the things in our life that would otherwise stop us, we begin to see how often we get stopped. And my invitation to you is, you walked through a doorway that gives you all sorts of possibilities today. You have the opportunity to leave what's on the other side of that door on that side of the door. And today, open your mind, open your heart, open the opportunity for you to hear something that you've heard 100 times brand new today. Something in a way that you could go and share with someone so that they would see something that they've never seen before. And it's so easy for us to take for granted that we have that opportunity through every door we walk. Through every door. You know, you can say a door well is a doorway to walk through. But every conversation is a new opportunity to connect with someone and get to know who they are. Every time you smile with someone on the street, it's a new opportunity to connect in a way you haven't connected. Every time we have a tough day, it's an opportunity to look at what would make it just a little bit easier. Every time we have an easy day, what is the way we look at it so that we could have a couple more easier days? And it's all inside of the questions we ask ourselves and we ask others and we engage in with people that gives us access to this. But we so often forget to ask the questions and get stuck in the statements of blaming ourselves or judging ourselves or dealing with the way things are because that's the way that it's always been. So today I just invite you, as you sit here in the chairs, what is that thing that you could give up today? What is that conversation that's held you where you are that you are willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that voice today. And as you do it one day at a time, each day exponentially grows the next. It's not like, okay, so I got through one day, now I have to get through tomorrow. It's like you get through one day and you build inside of yourself this little bit of trust that you otherwise maybe don't have. And as you build that trust, you can imagine that every day you build it, all of a sudden there's this feeling like, oh my gosh, I did it, and now I could show someone else. I did it, and now I know a different question to ask myself. I did it, and now I can be something that I didn't think I could be, because I've now asked myself something in a way I hadn't asked before. So today you have that opportunity. Now, as I was working with what I wanted to share today, you know, a lot of what I do, and I want to just share with you because, you know, sometimes when someone comes up in front of a room and looks somewhat polished and somewhat put together and somewhat like they know what they're talking about, one might think it just naturally happens that way. I'm here to tell you it's not. It doesn't happen that way. You know, I wake up like all of you with sleep in my eyes and with messy hair. I gotta brush my teeth. And what I recognize is that there's a part of my heart that has a lot of answers for me. But if I let my head and my mind and my brain run me all the time, then I might miss the part of my heart that's here to share with all of you today. And what I love to experience in a room of people is the part of each of us that we have in common. And we all here, who here has a heart? Now, here's a trick question. Who here actually feels your heart? Yeah, so if I bring your awareness to your heart, you probably could put your hand on your chest. Go ahead and do it. Put your hand on your chest. And for some of you, you can feel your heartbeat. And for some of you, you can't. Is your heart not beating because you can't feel it? No. But sometimes you need to close your eyes to actually feel it. Or maybe you need to feel your pulse to actually feel it. And it's our level of awareness, our level of observation, our level of attunement to our own body. But most of the time, when you're out there running and talking and walking and doing life, do you pay attention to how many times your heart beat during the day? No. Do you count how many times your heart beat during the day? No. No, but you take for granted that it's going to beat every day, all day long, so that you can get what you need from your heart, yes? Yes. And our heart works really hard for us, and we don't really ask it to. We just assume that it's going to work really hard for us. And the thing about that is, our hearts have access. They're like the superhighway to our receptors in our body, to the blood that flows through our body, to the reoxygenation that brings new cells into our brain so that our brain can continue to function. It is the superhighway, and we don't pay attention to it. So today, my request is that as you think about leaving behind what you left on the other side of the door and bringing whatever there is to learn today into your awareness and paying attention to what your heart has to say to you. Your heart speaks to you all day long, every day. And to the degree that you learn how to listen to what your heart is telling you, you will have more access to the feelings, the connections, the relationships, the energy that causes affinity. Affinity meaning love, compassion, joy, connection to each other. You know, we walk into a room of people and we think of ourselves as separate, right? I'm in my own body and I'm walking in and it's my day and my thoughts and my world, and then I say hello to someone. And now all of a sudden, there's actually a part of us that's an unspoken communication. Our energy mixes, our eyes connect, and our hearts are actually talking, but because we don't necessarily attune to what the hearts are saying, we sometimes miss the language that's happening. Who here has ever fallen in love at first sight? Like really fallen for someone, like wow. You know, knocked your socks off, wow. Okay? That's great. That's great. If you have, then you probably had better ability to listen to your heart in the moment. If you haven't, you probably just haven't paid attention to the heart telling you, oh my gosh, love at first sight, love at first sight, love at first sight. And probably because what you did is you put something around the heart that says, if there's love at first sight, I could get hurt. If there's love at first sight, something could have happened to me. If there's love at first sight, I've seen what happens to all those people out there. And we literally, in life, start backing away from the very connection that we have just because we're connected, just because our hearts are speaking the language we just haven't learned to listen to. So as I reflected on today and thinking about this marriage that I've had and what marriage means to people and what relationship means to people and what 13 years means to me and what I've had to get through and who I've had to be in the matter and what I've had to choose every day I wake up, I thought it would be important and beautiful and valuable to share a little bit about what I've learned along the way. And in a moment we're going to have a video that's also going to give you a way to consider why maybe you haven't listened to the voice of your heart. So when I got my master's in spiritual psychology, it was 8 years ago. And when I did that, I learned a technique. And up until that day that I learned that technique, I had always listened to people speaking to me through my mind. I'd always listened to the words you were saying, and then when you spoke them to me, I thought, oh, then I'd let them land and get through all the different parts of my body. It's like I'd process them through the filter of my mind, and the filter of my past, and the filter of what's happened that's been great, and what's happened that I don't want to talk about, and all that. But what I didn't realize is that there's this whole communication that happens if we're attuned to it, called listening with the ears of your heart. And when you listen to conversations through the ears of your heart, where you begin the relationship is a completely different place. Because it bypasses the evaluations, assessments, judgments, and meters of okayness or not okayness, goodness and badness in our mind. Our mind tends to go first to right, wrong, good, bad. And then it pulls out of relationship the connection that builds relationship. So when you have relationships with people and they continually break down, you begin to see, wait a minute, maybe they're breaking down because I'm assessing all the things that are right and wrong and good and bad in this relationship. But when you begin to meet people inside of a relationship where your heart's the one that's hearing, what the heart is listening for, write this down, what the heart is listening for is love. Always love. The heart is seeking love, always. So when you listen to every conversation, understanding that the heart is seeking love, then when someone's yelling at you, something that's their opinion, right? Because it's not true, it's just their opinion. But when someone's yelling something at you, if your heart is looking for the love underneath the words that they're saying, would you agree that you might hear what the words are a little differently?
Yes.
Now imagine you walk up to a stranger in life and you're wanting to get to know them. If you walk up to them thinking about what you want them to know, then you're only ever going to connect to the part inside of them that's going to evaluate whether what you have to tell them is good or right or wrong. But if you walk up to a person considering heart conversations, now the opportunity to connect is instantly there because there's no words to create the connection. So you create a bridge before the words ever leave your mouth. Can you imagine how much more comfort you have? Because there's all of a sudden invitation. It's not, I have an agenda, here's what I want to tell you. It's, here we are together. You have a heart, I have a heart, and our hearts are meeting. And then it's creating whatever there is next that comes out of my mouth. What I found after learning this technique, or learning this practice, was how much more patience I had for where I talked to people, where I met them, what I heard inside of their stories and in their life. Where in the past I wanted to get through all the stuff they wanted to talk about to get to the juicy, like, here's what I have to tell you that'll make it all better. And what I learned was, it's in the stories of their heart that is the essence of their dreams and who they are. And the story of their heart is where their dreams live. And it's where the one person, when they were 7 years old and told them they couldn't do what they wanted to do in their dreams, where they closed it off and they said, my heart must be wrong. My heart must have betrayed me and told me something wrong. But the truth is, it was just their opinion. And maybe it was based on their heart being squashed when they were 7 also. So I invite you today, what would it take for you? And you want to ask yourself this question. Write this question down. What would it take for me to begin to have a relationship with my heart? To begin to listen to every conversation that I engage in with the ears of my heart instead of just the ears on my head. So let's play the video. So we have some work to do. We gotta start seeing. So I did a little exercise this morning, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the little exercise, and then I'm going to have each of you share. And I like to tell you that you're going to share so that you're, not writing novels, but like a page maybe, a couple of paragraphs, okay? You can write it on your phone, you can write it on paper, borrow some from your neighbor. And I want you to write a letter to your heart. I want you to begin to develop the ears of your heart and start listening to what your heart has to tell you. Because in order to really see, we're going to have to start understanding where our heart is guiding us and what it's telling us that we just ignore or take for granted. So there are 3 questions that I wrote on the board. Number 1, this is Dear Heart. You're going to be writing to your heart. Number 1, I know it's tilted. Here you go. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is, you've been walking around a long time and your heart has been working very hard for you. What I've learned from you is, what I'm grateful to you for is, what am I grateful to my heart for? What has it gotten me through? What has it helped me with? What am I grateful to it for? And what I promise you is, this is where it gets into, if you know me, you know that everything I do is about results and action. It's taking spirituality, it's taking love, it's taking connection, it's taking whatever it is that we dream about and putting it into next steps in action. So what are you going to promise to yourself, to your heart, that you're going to do with this now that you have these ears of your heart maybe hearing it for the first time? Okay? So you're going to have 5 minutes to write, and then we're going to have as many people as possible share. So ready, set, go. So granted, that wasn't a lot of time. You probably could spend a lot more time doing that, so you can definitely do that. But let's get a few people to come up here and share. So Scott, Layla, Jenica, Allie, come on up, brand new. You right here, brand new. Inspiring Persia, Jimmy. Yes, you wiggling your fingers, yeah. Okay, I'll call on the next group after this group goes. Okay? Awesome, so come forward. Allie, you get to go first. Sweet.
Do I just like read off
just
the
read.
whole thing?
You just read.
Okay. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is that
So I'm
not,
going to just do one little thing.
Okay.
So I shared last week with everybody, and I like to really make sure that we're grounded in this. The second most scary thing in people's lives is the fear of dying. The first most scary thing in people's lives is getting up in front of all of you to speak. Okay? So whenever someone walks forward, let's give them a big round of applause. Let's start with that. It takes something to stand for the words that your heart has to share. And when we stand here and recognize in each of us what it took for her to be here, we begin to have a completely different level of appreciation, and it bridges that gap between us and her. For you, I'd like you to stand with your feet on the ground and really own this is what your heart has to say.
Okay.
And this is what you have to say to your heart.
Okay.
Okay? Awesome.
All right. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is that I'm not always right, that you beat harder and faster when you're fully open and listening, that when I listen to you, I know I am heading in the right direction, that I trust myself because I know you and the little subtle changes in you. What I'm grateful for is always for you for always being on my side, even when my brain is against me, that you are so big and full of so much love that at times you fill my chest and I think you might explode. That you expose who I am even when I try to play tough and act like I don't care. That you know me better than I know myself, and I promise that I will listen more and follow you.
I'm Amy.
Amen.
Dear heart, what I've learned from you is each day is a new beginning. The past is the past, and all we have is this moment. I'm grateful for your guidance and strength. I am grateful for never leading me astray. There have been times I may not have listened to you or looked the other way, and I know that is not the path to take. What I promise to you, my eternal promise to you, is this: from this day forward, I will always listen to you no matter what. I will keep you open and shining for myself and others. I will follow your guidance and keep you engaged at all times. I will stand up for what's right, even if it seems hard. I will only fuel you with harmony, positivity, and most of all, love.
Hello, my name is Scott. Oh, okay. Okay, one thing. I've been here many times and I've seen many videos. I've never asked this, but if we have time at the end, can you play that again?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Okay. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is to trust when I hear you speaking. What I'm grateful to you for is for the compassion that you give me for others. And what I promise you is to never again listen to the outside voices that tell me I'm not good enough, that I haven't achieved enough, and that maybe my dreams are for someone else. I promise that I will tune in more frequently and stop second guessing you. Because every time I have, I've failed. Because I didn't believe in myself.
No hiding behind the hat. That's right. What's your name?
TGIM. All right, my name is Chioma. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is actions speak louder than words. What I'm grateful to you for is allowing me experiences and people to learn from for personal development. What I promise to you is I'll pay attention to the message rather than delivery for situations yet to come, to look at upcoming issues as challenges yet to overcome, not problems that overwhelm.
Hey guys, my name is Jimmy. Again, my name is Jimmy. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is that you've been hurt and are easily hurt, so you tend to hide from opportunity when things seem too good to be true. The surface is harsh. What I'm grateful to you for is that you've stayed intact and have become stronger through the obstacles and challenges in order to keep me sane and alive. What I promise you is that we will grow together, stronger, mature, older, and wiser through time and suffering.
Hi, I'm Jenica.
Yeah.
I want to say happy anniversary to Jen and Monika. Thank you. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is that I need to be around family. I love to be loved and I love to love, and nothing in the world is more important than that. I've learned that you can be sensitive and you like it when people like you. You want to be accepted, so I want to be accepted. Sometimes I worry more about others accepting me than about accepting myself. Woo! Sometimes I play it safe. What I'm grateful to you for is being open to always meeting new people, for mending after losing friends, having fights, and being way too far from the people I love so much.
You got this, girl. We love it.
I'm grateful that you help me attract wonderful people around me who support me and make me better. I'm grateful that you've been brave enough to fall in love so young and go through a lot of aching and missing another heart with the faith that... Sorry.
It's
Good. Got it. With the faith that we will one day be together for good. What I promise you is that I'll always try to follow you and reach out to others through you and see what they need beyond what they're saying. I promise that I'll start accepting myself whether others accept me or not.
Hi, I'm Layla. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is I always don't have the answers to anything happening in my life, even when I think I always have the answers to anything happening in my life, even when I think I don't. I, above anything and anyone else, know what's best for me and my relationships. When my mind and you disagree, you're the one that has my best interest in mind and best interest for those in my life, aka you're the one that I must listen to. What I'm grateful to you is making me a greater and more authentic person, seeing my true self and connecting me to my purpose on this planet, providing the resource for me to love deeper, love harder, and love truer. What I promise to you is I will continue to listen to you and listen to others through you. I will turn to you in times of despair and in times of true happiness. I will forever grow you, my heart space, so that I can love those closest to me and help change the world by holding them in you and loving them through you. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Inspiring Persia. Dear heart, I have learned that I first need to forgive myself of my past and my own mistakes, which in return I can forgive others. I am so grateful that I have a second chance at life to realize and recognize my blessings, and was taught through having a relationship. This was taught through having a relationship with God. That I am a blessing and a gift, and that I have learned how to show people that I are a blessing, and so now to show people that they are a blessing, and now return to show that they can be a blessing to others. I promise myself that I will bless nations through my gifts and to share the love that I have for so many people, to let them now know how they matter and how important they are in this world, one blessing at a time.
Great day. My name is Miguel. Yes. All right. Dear heart, what I've learned from this is that you are still beating for a purpose, helping me live to the full expression that what I am planted here to do. Thank you. What I am grateful for is that every beat is like a rock thrown into the ocean, the world, that causes a ripple effect of love, of joy, of pureness, and of greatness. Thank you. What I promise you is that everyone I come in contact with will feel the vibration of power, of greatness, and the king that lives within you. Thank you, heart.
You know, we get to do it a little bit in front of all of you. So we wrote letters too. Might as well celebrate in front of everybody if you make it.
I'll go first. I'm not judging yet. Take it all in. Hi everybody, my name's Jan. Dear heart, what I have learned from you is that you are the true connector between me and everything else in the universe. I see, hear, touch, taste, and smell a million things throughout the day. But only when there is a feeling attached does it capture my attention and stay in my memory. Until now, my brain has been my engine. It sends words to my mouth, solves problems, makes assessments, and determines what to do. I have learned that that job is now yours. I'm grateful for you for never giving up on me. When I was young, I was taught by some people not to feel. It was a sign of weakness. I abandoned you for years, and yet you remained strong and stayed true until I was ready for you. I now promise to let you be my guide, my lens through which I experience the world, the voice with which I speak, and the thing that guides my actions. As a result, everything I hear, say, and do will be filled with love and feeling.
My name is Monika Zans. Thank you. Dear heart, what I've learned from you is how to love. How to overcome the obstacles, the fear, the upset, the blame that gets in the way of connecting and feeling the love I share with people on this planet. I have learned how to stand for people's greatness no matter what. You've taught me how to be a vigilante for love and possibility and aliveness. I've learned to feel my feelings and recognize the gifts around me. You've taught me determination, unwavering commitment to what I believe in, and a deep desire to bring my dreams to fruition. What I'm grateful to you for is being open to loving, to being loved, and to sharing my love with and for others. I'm grateful to you for my will to move forward and pursue what I see is available for mankind. What I promise you is to listen to your guidance, to silence the chatter in my head when it gets too loud to hear the whisperings of my soul. I promise you to slow down when I'm pushing you too hard, to acknowledge you for standing for my relationships, and for teaching me what unconditional love looks like, feels like, is attracted to, and manifests. I promise to have faith that we are in this together forever, and I thank you for bringing me the ability to recognize my soulmate. So I wanted to just let you guys know that what was so powerful about this video for me was what she said, what Ianla said about your eyes will adjust to the deficiency of your focus. Your eyes will adjust to the deficiency of your focus. As you look through the eyes that you were given to see the world and to see people and to see the human race and to see everything around you, just or unjust, I encourage you not to dim the light. Don't turn the volume down. Heighten your focus. Heighten your compassion. Heighten your opportunity to see the greatness all around you. Because with that gift, you give it automatically to others. So as always, see your greatness, be your greatness, and pay it forward! Thank God it's Monday!